Welcome to FX Options University, recorded live at the International Securities Exchange, the world's largest equity options exchange. Join the industry's top trading professionals as they provide insight and strategies for trading in the currency markets using FX options. FX options are a low-risk alternative to hedging currency moves in any market condition.
What I came up with in filtering out was real simple. If I'm bullish the market, then generally the market may stay contained in a range between the second resistance, R2, down to S1, and then up to the pivot point. So in essence, I would be targeting this as a potential range. And guess what? If the market closed here, opened to lower, traded lower first, and then shot up, guess what? It came into a value of support between that S1 and pivot, and then I would be using the R2 as my profit target. So in essence, let's say this is a monthly chart. Let's say this would be August, and this is September. Now I want to determine what the heck October might be. Well, if we are deemed to be bullish, all right, and I see that this could be my potential support, if the market gets near this predicted support, I'll be looking for secondary confirmation of a buy signal, and then I'll be targeting my R2 as a profit objective. And I'll be looking at that for the monthly numbers. Now, what I might do for October, since it's a new month, instead of buying October options, I would be buying the November options, or I'd be buying the December options just to give myself a little bit of leeway. Now, when and why would I do that? Well, for one, we are looking at the ISE Euro FX index. It's inverted to what you and I would see normally in a spot euro currency contract. All right? So just to give you an idea, if we're looking at the euro currency, and this is, again, off the TD Ameritrade or Thinkorswim's platform, this is the person's pivots. It's real easy to find that. If you, I don't know how many people in the audience there are Thinkorswimmers. How many, do we have Thinkorswimmers here? A couple? Excellent. Okay, great. If you go over here to Studies, right, click on Studies, and then go to All, then search, or actually go to Support and Resistance, you'll find Person's Pivot. Just change it from default of daily, weekly, or monthly. I want you to see that you're looking at Person's Pivots monthly. These are monthly. So I didn't draw these dots in. But what's neat, and the reason why I like showing you this, is simply because if you look, and again, not everything's 100% perfect, but I want you to see where we have times where the market actually supports and floats, especially with the ISE's currency product, near and targets these support and resistance levels. So it's been kind of effective using the monthly numbers, and now from a charting perspective interest, we kind of see, as I've outlined here, this declining wedge pattern. So generally in declining wedge patterns, we, as these white arrow shows, we generally see a breakout to the upside. Now once again, this would be inverted. This would be inverted to the euro currency. So we would be looking for the euro currency against the US dollar to go down. What's interesting is that if you notice, this chart was done about 3 days ago, right? And you'll notice it was on the 28th, done yesterday. But notice where we are, the low was 3 days ago, right at, that's what I meant to say, the low right at this monthly predicted support, which would be the monthly resistance in the euro against the US dollar. And I know that sounds a little bit of confusion, but if you just follow this, you will see that the market right here was giving us kind of a support target, an idea that, hey, possibly this might be the low, but using other forms of technical analysis. Some people may be looking for a lot lower, but monthly pivots actually gave us support. And now I'd have to say, interesting. Here we are at this predicted monthly support. And it's interesting because the last couple days we've actually seen, especially yesterday and today, we've seen the euro currency go down against the dollar, and we've seen the euro FX index go up. And that's something that may work even higher in time. And here's what I say might work in time. Generally speaking, this is a seasonal study on the euro currency that I'd like to share with you because we are entering in a new quarter. Seasonally speaking, this is the euro priced in euro versus the dollar. So this is opposite of the euro index. The euro currency goes down generally. In the last 10 years, on average, it has gone down starting on the second to last trading day of September going into the middle of October. What's interesting about that is this is exactly what's transpired in the last couple days. Now again, with seasonalities, not every time you're going to have a winner, and not every time it's going to come into fruition right at the exact same day. And that's where we need to use multiple forms of market analysis, number one. And number two, you have to have an exit strategy if you're wrong. And believe me, I'm telling you, not every trade's a winner. And I can say this, though, if we start to see from a seasonal perspective the euro currency goes down against the U.S. dollar, as it does right now, then the euro index will go up. And guess what? That's kind of interesting. And the reason I say it's interesting is because that's what this chart pattern, this declining wedge pattern, as you can see, I mean, I didn't make it up. There it is. This declining wedge pattern, that's the characteristics of what it portrays. It portrays that a market will break out to the upside of declining wedges. So in essence, we have a traditional chart pattern, we have a pivot point monthly target, and we also have a seasonal tendency of the market, which shows the opposite of what that euro currency index can do. All right, so now, armed with this type of analysis and information, we can say to ourselves, I may want to partake in that type of trade opportunity. I have several different ways of tackling this particular setup. A, I could look at the euro currency index call options, right? If I could go back to a few slides here. And bear with me a second. I could go, like I say, long the EUI call options. Make sure you get that symbol right. Or I could buy puts in the EUU. So you have two different scenarios, two different ways to tackle this opportunity because the ISE has two different products now, okay? So you have two different ways to trade the market. If you think that the euro currency could gain on the U.S. dollar, don't do the trade. If you think, or plan accordingly. But I think armed with the information, just to let you know, you have two different ways to trading that market. The key, if any trade, and I said it at least, if not once, 14 times, risk management. That's the key.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. Get trading ideas, exchange rates, webinars, news, and commentary. Visit www.fxoptions.com. ISE FX options can be easily traded through all options-enabled brokerage accounts. These exchange-listed securities are cash-settled in U.S. dollars and have a European-style exercise.